Welcome to something unusual. I know it's an Overwatch video on YouTube. I can't believe it either. So, if you aren't aware, Coaching the Many is making a comeback. It's above me up here. And the point of this video slash instructional thing, it's also being streamed on Twitch, that's why Twitch chat is here with me, is to teach you how to make a video for coaching and what to do and how to record it and how to set it up and all that kind of good stuff. So, you can do many different ways of recording things. First and foremost, if you have a NVIDIA card, the easiest thing to do is to actually press Ctrl-Alt-Z. You'll get this, which is the GeForce Experience. Only thing I'd say with this is going to settings. I think it's in settings. Is it this? Yeah, video capture. Set the bitrate down to about 10K, right? It's going to default to about 50K if you have it on best or custom. No. 60 FPS, about 12K. 12K Mbps or 12 Mbps, right? The reason why is because YouTube encodes at about 12,000 for a 1080p video. So if you're recording in 1080p and you upload at 50, a 50K bitrate, that's going to be meaningless. If you upload at 12K, then it's going to be fine, and it's just saves you some hard drive space. NVIDIA GeForce Experience is one of the best ways to record. You just hit the hotkey, you just start the recording. For me, it's Alt F9. And you start your replay and you go. If you have OBS, which is why I have OBS open, set it to either capture your monitor or capture Overwatch. I'm going to just disable the preview so you don't get the recursion quite as much, but it's there, it's useful. Settings, let's see. I think so in video you can just set this up, but it's in encoding that you really want. So if you have NVIDIA NVENC, this is an old version of OBS, but they all look pretty much the same. This is the one I use for recording my own screen. And again, bitrate is the only important thing here. Just set it to about 12K. That's honestly all you really need to do. Start the recording, go into Overwatch, and you should be good to go. Now then, I have set up myself with a replay. I'm actually going to hide the screen for a second, because I'm going to get Epic Pen out as well, because why not? Because it's going to be fun. So there we go. So once you've set up your OBS or your your shadow play, go into career profile, into replays, and I just played a competitive game on Realto. It was actually a pretty good match, and so we're going to use this as a good example, as a test case for how to do it. Now, you'll be tempted, because everyone gets tempted to do this, to do tons and tons of fancy camera stuff, right? You'll be tempted to do fancy camera pans and it's be all oh yeah, we can just pan around, let's look at the spawn. All right, there's me, and it's oh yes. And pissing around a bit in the first 40 seconds, I'm not going to begrudge you too much. If you want to get it smooth, get a controller out, that's the best way to do it. That's how they do it in Overwatch League. That's how we've been doing it since the start. We've been using controllers to get silky smooth broadcast quality. But in general, you have, in my mind, two best choices for coaching. You can either record from a top-down perspective over where the fighting's going to happen. You want to be at about a distance where you can see as many things as possible. Or you just set it to first person and you can just record that. Honestly, simplest way to do things. I recommend, if you want to do top-down stuff and you want to do top-down things, the best way to do it, volume is kind of loud, but hey, it should still be fine. Best way to do it is to just, again, follow as much of the action as possible. Keep it relatively stable, right? And just try and, you don't want to pan around too much, and when you do pan quickly, and then just get to, the next area where the next fight's going to be. So, for example, next fight's going to be about here, and you can kind of see where everybody is, and what everyone's trying to do, and what everyone's trying to accomplish. So this is, going to be more useful for, your healers and supports, if you're going to be using the top down, or if you know that there's going to be a big team fight and you want to be really fancy, what you can do as well is you can do this. So if I go back 20 seconds, okay, the hotkey isn't set up on this. So if I go back to the start of this fight, and you can try editing. It's not that difficult to do if you have Windows Movie Maker. Honestly, you can probably slap together and just refine where you want to be. If you know a little bit about how to use Adobe Premiere, then absolutely go nuts with it. Just don't go too crazy. But you can see that first person gives us good resolution of what I'm trying to do at any given time. You can watch the fight from first person. And then if you're feeling super fancy, you can basically let the fight play out. And you can see, like, we can't kind of see what's going on elsewhere. Is the only issue right now. We can't see, like, where they're setting up and what's happening elsewhere, or things that might be happening behind us. This fight's about over. Okay, and then we can do the same fight. Now, honestly, I wouldn't mind it too much if, like, oh god, the hotkey not being set up is a pain. I wouldn't mind it too much if, like, occasionally on, like, big important fights, the fights you're not sure of, you just do this, for example. And then you can just watch it again from a top-down perspective, because that's probably what I would end up doing if I was actually coaching. If I could, like, see the replays. And again, notice I'm not moving it around. Notice I'm not juking it all over the place. You could, in theory, try using this. I'm not too sure on, like, this, to be honest. I don't think it, like, helps that much. I don't think it makes too much of a big difference. In general, if you're not sure, if you're ever not sure, just do it like this. Right? Just put it in first person and coach from there. And let me coach from there, because that is going to be by far the easiest and best way to do things.
No one can hide.
Okay, otherwise, let's see my... Like, now that I can actually use the replay as well, I'm going to use... Because this is a replay, I am going to use it to its fullest. And honestly, let's just start the replay again. I'm going to just dampen the volume on it ever so slightly as well, so I'm a little bit clearer. And so let's talk about this from a coaching point of view. So this game, when it started, was kind of an unusual one, because like we got the Hog Risa locked in very quickly, and then we have this Lechoy Hyobin who's very determined to play off-tank, apparently. Luckily, the guy who wanted to play Genji actually did swap. Unbelievably, he decided, yep, I see the problem here, I'm going to play Ana. So we have Ana Baptiste, which is a good healing mix for this team comp. It's actually fine on offense, I think, as well. Like, a lot of healing throughput in this team, right? We can actually go very brawly, we can take a lot of fights. The only real odd one out in the odd duck at the moment is the Widowmaker, but she can look for a couple of picks and does just that. She pops out and gets a free Mei. Superb. That Mei, very, very greedy. So, in terms of objectives here, man, the hockey's... Like, I'm so used to the World Cup viewer. Can I actually configure that? Control P still works, that's good. Control P pauses the game, by the way. Should be in here. Controls, yes. Okay, decrease speed zoom. So, why isn't it in this, though? Miscellaneous, restart custom game. No, they just don't have options for it, apparently. They don't have options for it in the main client. That's rough. That's silly. It's a pretty good start for our team, right, in this situation. It's a really good start for our team, okay? I'm kind of in the position that I want to be in. The only sort of real issue is that we've got this Mercy-Genji combo that's in our backline. What I would like to see here, in this case, is like the Ana actually tucks in on our Orisa, who's just been pulled off, so it's a little bit tricky now. But the team should be more like balled up, right? This is a team that's very, very strong if we're all together. We have like a Diva, a Roadhog, and a Orisa. That's like a very powerful tanky mix that's not going to go anywhere. And between the Baptiste and the Ana, we have a lot of AoE healing as well. Ana can just drop a grenade, heals everyone up for a massive amount, and then Baptiste can just right-click it or left-click into it, right-click into it, and just funnel out tons and tons of healing into that. So chance of us getting actually blown up is pretty limited. The only exception is the Widowmaker, but she has mobility tools to sort of get away with things. So in this case, I would have liked it if the team was more bunched up, because this leaves me in like a really awkward position. But I just kind of rely on my the Diva to do it. I'm just going to play with the cart and just keep pressure on the cart and try and keep their team back. I also, managed to fish out the Orisa because I saw that she used Holt earlier. So my objective here was just try and get one of their tanks gone and try and stop their tanks interfering. Diva's now peeled off to go and deal with this. The Ana's hit a fantastic sleep dart. This Genji's not really much of a threat anymore. The front line's been sort of taken care of. They're not going to be able to push on it because they have no Orisa, so they can't really push into us, and so they can go and clean up the rest of this. The Orisa makes an interesting decision here in terms of coming up this alleyway, and honestly, it's fine. Like, without their Orisa, we can just take any ground we want. The power thing doesn't matter too much. Personally, I think I would have preferred it. If you did actually could just go, ooh, super thick. Super thick. If you did just go the conventional route, but honestly, like, this was fine, just pushing up the Genji and then just coming up here, reuniting with the team. I think this barrier is just a little bit oversafe, especially with the Orisa dead, but yeah, it's fine. It like stops, the Widowmaker getting hooked or anything like that, and we can easily just funnel forward and probably take this corner, right? Because this is the thing with Hog Orisa, is you're generally playing from corner to corner to corner, right? Just breaking down Rialto very quickly and like, well, what do we want to do? First corner I'm going to try and play is this one, just to peek my nose out and see what's going on, just see what's happening. Second corner I want to play is sort of this one, and just use this corner. And the idea is you sort of use the barrier, you do your damage, you try and blow up their barrier as fast as possible, and then you hide again and you're going to be fine, right? That's all I'm looking to do. Next corner is going to be this one, and then we're going to peek out. But we kind of skip this corner because of a good push. Next corner we're going to play is this one. Set up the Orisa barrier here, and we can just juke back and forth, and I can use this as freely as I like. Okay, oh. Let's go first person for this one. Oh. So here, I'm honestly just more looking to fish people out, right? I'm not actually looking to necessarily kill people, right? I'm looking to just fish people out so that, I know that we have a Roadhog, a Diva, and a Orisa. Also frame rate, man. Very powerful tank killing mix. It doesn't really matter what I fish out, as long as some other people shoot it, we can probably kill it. Here we're just looking to survive. I hear the light them up, so I'm going to take a step back a little bit. Well, I'm going to look for the hook on the Mei, and then take a step back and hopefully try shooting through that. Don't actually get as much use out of that as I perhaps should. It doesn't matter too much, but something to keep in mind. This is honestly something I'm kind of weak at, and this is just a personal thing. This is like a personal issue, which is that I don't trust people to push the cart, right? This is an issue that I have in like a really big way. Also, let me turn on. Health bars should be on. It's weird that they're not. It's the what? Miscellaneous, capture highlight, show health bars. I generally have this on Control Shift 1. There we go, just so it doesn't overlap with anything. Still isn't doing anything. Did I not confirm it? Am I an idiot? No, it's confirmed. Just health bars just aren't there for some reason. That's annoying. Yeah, it's a real issue I actually have in this game, because I could be taking a lot of ground here, actually. I could be like, I don't want to go too far because they still have the Roadhog. I can still get hooked. But in theory, me and Orisa can just like be setting up on top of this bridge, and especially like using the curve of the bridge to just like peek over is actually a very, very good way of just, taking a little bit of extra ground to get us across this bridge, which can be a little bit of trouble. And you can see, I kind of want to do it, but I just don't trust people enough to do it. And like even at this moment, I remember vividly in the game being like, why isn't anyone still on the cart? To me, it's like, we got this Batiste, we got Ana, we got Widow, we got any of these people that can stand on the cart. Instead, I go, well, shit, no one's pushing it. I'm going to run back a bit. Oh, Batiste is on it. Okay, now I can go and get ready to take the next corner. This is where they swap to the Reaper. Hooking Reapers is always like a sacrifice for a Roadhog. The thing is this, we might actually just be able to kill him because he is on about 200 hit points. So he's actually somewhat killable for us. When he's on full hit points, what tends to happen is you hook them in, he'll headshot you, and he'll get like all the health back straight away. He'll just be fine, and then he'll just heal up in the next couple of shots, and you won't be able to kill him. So hooking Reapers, to me, is always a sacrifice. It's always a decision of like, well, I am going to just try and get him low, and then hopefully the rest of the team is also going to shoot him and finish him off. This is also where the Widowmaker starts dropping off in effectiveness, because they start playing a much tighter comp. And this is why I ult, because I realize no one's looking my way, so this is going to get rid of the Reaper at least. A little bit of anti-synergy happens there as well with the Diva ult and Hog ult. It's just a bit of a shame. Back into barrier destruction, reload. And again, that's an example of a hook where I was kind of hoping that it would get him low and get him like get everyone else shooting at him to get him killed, get that extra bit of damage on him. I had just reloaded. I don't think I actually had the ammo at that point. Maybe I did, but even if I didn't, I was just like, I want to stop him doing things. The hook scares him, spooks him off, because I know I can't just let him run into our team. So where I'm just looking to try and get a shot on the Genji, I just blow Reaper's head off just with an incidental shot, fire a hook off to try and find him, but they get the kills. And okay, that's a problem. Okay, now we have an issue, right? We've got to push out of spawn. Widow's got a couple of picks, but don't get too excited because their spawn is, not that far away from them, and they can always just pull back a little bit. And this bridge is always an issue, right? You notice when I cross actually like on the opposite side of the bridge, just to try and be as safe as possible. Reaper's just decided to feed. Again, there I'm just hoping that my team will follow, right? I'm going to actually manually go back a little bit. This is a good example of like me being optimistic on my team and just trying to put a bit of trust in my team. The moment we realize that that Reaper is like behind us, because we hear the shots, they're very loud, I throw a hook to try and catch him, and then I stay on him. And as long as some other people help me out, he's not actually that big of a problem. Here to light them up. But I'm worried about the Genji. People are calling out the Genji, so I've turned around to try and pressure him. But I also want to try and pressure the barrier, and this is where I end up being really indecisive. And I think we could have played this better. I think, honestly, with our team comp, we just ignore the Genji. Like, as weird as it sounds. And I think I should have just played with the Baptiste ult and just, like, focused on this front line. I don't think it's, like, optimally placed, because the payload is just, like, every single shot I fire is just going to go mostly into the payload. But I think I would have been better served by just, like, going around here and just ignoring the Genji. Because, honestly, what's he going to do, realistically? What is he going to achieve back there? And I end up throwing my hook at him, and it doesn't really do anything. And it's like, he's not doing anything. Like, you can actually kind of see that the value he's getting is pretty minimal. He's Transcendence, that's a beauty of a nade. I didn't even see that nade. Diva Bomb, oh! Oh, the Zen got stuck on him. The Zen got stuck on him. But now I realize we're kind of in trouble, because that Reaper is a really big problem for us, and we're down the Orisa. We're just going to take tons of damage here. So this is why I back away with the Baptiste. Throw a hook on the Hog. Don't really expect much to come off it. I know Baptiste can keep me up through it, but let's try and build up some ult. I'm just trying to get myself in range. You'll notice this Orisa throws very long halts, and so like I need to be marching forward to do that. And this is where it's just turned into a full barrier wall. Again, that's where I was kind of, again, hoping that something would come of that. The sleep dart's beautiful. I keep it on him, and like it's a questionable choice to keep it on him, but I think it's the right one, as weird as it sounds. Is this before he ults? I think this is before he ults. I think he's teleporting back here or something. Yeah. And I think it's the right choice to keep it on him. Like, despite the sleep dart hitting. The reason is just to get him out. Like, because if we just let him sleep, then he's just going to wake up and he's just going to kill people. At least this way, he's on like 2 hit points as he leaves. The only thing I'd criticize here is I don't know if D.Va should have chased him. Just because, again, D.Va can't fight Reaper. Like, you can see it there. It's clear as day. Alright? D.Va cannot fight Reaper. None of us can really fight him unless we're all hitting him. Get the punish on that. Team's there to follow up. That was a beautiful halt by the Orisa. Nano. Just let it go. And at this point, I'm not too worried, to be honest. Especially now that we've got the McCree instead of the Widow. I'm actually feeling a lot happier. Because I know that when I hook stuff, I'm going to have someone else there to help, like, flash it, stun it, kill it. And they're really overextending as well. Like, they've gone nuts. This is where I was whining that nothing's dying. It's like, come on, come on, come on, someone. I go in here to A, get out of the enemy's damage, and B, push that Orisa back out. You have a Zarya instead of the D.Va. Just fishing for some hooks. Again, notice, again, I go back to the payload, because I don't trust the payload. Rightfully so, I'm the only one on it. Here I'm just looking to smash barriers. Anytime we can force this Orisa to be uncomfortable is something I'm going to go for. And again, I think the McCree got a stun on that. Smash the barrier with the whole Hog. Sort of the decision making behind that choice. They do something weird here, which is go and take the high ground. This is something I completely did not expect them to do. And I kind of don't have a solution for this situation happening here. Because it's very awkward for me to get up there and do anything about it, and it's very awkward for me to, like... I don't know, like I can't just run up there because it's an Orisa and a Reaper, right? I can't run into that and survive. I'm going to die. So I just stay on the payload and think, well, I figure, well, they're going to have to come down here at some point. And they kind of end up doing just that. I like the grab. This is where I really wish I had my whole hog. I just absorb the Reaper ult. Stand on top of him, shoot him. Unfortunately, I get whole hogged and I don't have a hook. This felt really awkward as well. And I think at this point I should have honestly been the one to go for. Like, I should have just gone forward. Alright, because it's kind of an awkward choice that I have to make. Where it's like, do I just try and use this this Batiste ult, or do I actually just go and challenge the Roadhog directly? And I think I should have just challenged the Roadhog directly. And like done this movement a little bit earlier. Just to play around the corner a little bit here. Just to like try and play there. Let's do an overhead for this one. And all I'm trying to do, what I want to make sure is what happened there, which is if he does actually get a hook on me, I want to make sure that I only get hooked to like here, right? That he has to like come around the corner. And this is why playing corners with Hog is so important. Because if I like run all the way out here and he stands like over here and hooks me, well, I'm going to be screwed because the payload blocks the line of sight. And you got to remember, especially with healers like Ana and Batiste, you have to play line of sight with those healers. If the healer is out of line of sight, I get no healing. Okay? So if you think about like the areas I can play in, actually let's turn the camera this way, it makes a little bit more sense. The areas I can play in, well, I've got to play around this Ana's line of sight, so it's sort of this area here. Alright, just to sort of shade it in. And then like all of this space over here as well, and like this area here. And then we've got the Batiste here, who can heal like this area as well. And it's kind of an overlapping arc, right? So there's this big space over here that if I get pulled into it, I can't get heals. I will be completely on my own. You might think, well, you're a Roadhog, you're going to be fine, you're going to be just safe. Not necessarily true if they have like Zen, Orisa, and Roadhog of their own to actually get a lot of damage done onto me. That can kill me pretty quickly. They've got an Ashe now for some reason. Top coaching tip on this patch, on current patch, the patch where McCree was buffed, replays were added. Do not pick Ashe for any reason. Do not pick Ashe. Ever. You might be going, wait, I really like playing Ashe. Ashe is awesome. She's really cool. She's like got this mid-range. No, McCree does more damage at mid-range. McCree does better damage at mid-range and long-range. He can just fire more shots. He doesn't get punished for missing at all, because he just fires again in like a record time. He just blasts away with his handgun. It's fine. He reloads way faster. In the current barrier meta with like the Orisa and Hog, if Orisa deploys a barrier and you have Ashe Genji, and you just shoot into that, you're never going to take it down. Never going to take it down. The Roadhog has to do all the work to take that down. Thank you, Dat Noob, as well. Very much appreciated. The Ashe, by the time she's fired 12 bullets into this thing, the barrier's just gone down. She then has to reload. A new barrier comes up. Oh, now she's back to square one. You get no damage out of her at all. The only value that she gets is throwing dynamite, getting a nice big chunk of AoE damage, but Batiste just presses shift or clicks a couple of times on the floor. That's all healed up, and it's just all gone to his ult. Bob is okay, but we have an Ana. Sleep Dart nullifies it completely. What's the point of Ashe? What is the point of Ashe right now? Do not pick Ashe at the moment. She is just empirically a worse choice than McCree. And this isn't even like Soldier and McCree and them having like hit scan overlap. At least with Soldier, you have that, like, if you don't have snap aim, if you don't have great aim, Soldier can still get a lot of work done. Ashe and McCree have very similar kinds of aim, but the value between the two is completely disparate. Any signs they might revert the McCree change? My guess is not bloody likely. Not bloody likely. They tend not to revert changes. We have a supercharger. I'm going to abuse it this time. I go aggressive this time. Team goes aggressive this time. Hook the Mercy. Stop the res. Easy. Easy as you like. Let's stick on this high ground view. Again, you're going to see me linger around the payload a little bit. Like, yeah, I want to keep it moving. Barrier's up ahead, but I really do want to be, and this is like where I get frustrated myself. I really do want to be under the sea, in an octopus's garden in the shade. Ooh. Oh, release my mouse. Okay, I've got to do it like this. Yeah, I actually really do want to be like up here, or even better, like positioned up here, right? This is what I want to be doing. But because I don't trust the team, and because I don't trust people, I'm actually staying by the payload. And I think I need to shake that habit a little bit more, especially playing Roadhog. Because having the Roadhog forward, there's all this space here. Okay, let's not use the blue. Let's use the yellow. I should contrast. There's all this space here that I can hook into that this Orisa can't deal with, and I can just slam 5 right clicks into this, destroy this, and then we can easily take out the Orisa, who has a Zenyatta for support. And their heal combo is Zen Mercy. They can't out heal us if we just rush someone down. Like, this is not a strong healer combo. And this is why, like, in general, I'll be somewhat critical of having Mercy on a team, because she just doesn't provide a huge amount of healing, and you have to, like, give up a Zen or a Lucio to have a... You, like, have to make a choice of, do I give up the Zen and Lucio for the healing, for their ultimates, or do I give up Ana or Baptiste or Moira for their massive healing throughput, and we don't have a big powerful ult? So if we did have a Genji, for example, he could just Dragon Blade and kill them every single time. It's like a very, very difficult choice that you have to make, and it's a sacrifice you have to make if you play with Mercy. So yeah, smash down the barrier. Orisa's gone down. Here I just want to try and help the Zarya. Zarya gets hooked in, so I just try and make sure to keep pressure on clear skies, on the Roadhog. Let's go back to first person, because it's kind of difficult to see what's going on. In general, I would say that first person is better, by the way, if you are curious, if you want to know. Here I end up behind him, so I just try and push him in the team. Orisa fortifies that for some reason. Don't do that, kids. Let the whole hog push you out. If you fortify it, you just take all the damage and you die. I want to find this Bastion and try and hook him. Doesn't matter. And then I do some whiffs, which feels bad. I don't even know how that missed. And then I just miss every shot. I needed to just calm down and just slowly take the shots there. Is McCree a tank buster now? Yes. He was before, he's even more so now. McCree got a flat 20% DPS increase. Right? I don't know what McCree's DPS was before, but whatever it is now, it's ridiculous.
Initiating match.
Like, he fires so quickly. The amount of damage he actually just puts out is insane. Seems to really not like the borderless. This is an issue with the OBS, not with actually my frame rate. Won't be an issue you guys have if you send me a YouTube video. New tank must be OP. Oh yeah, they really like must be preparing for the new guy who's going to just break the game apparently. And there we go. Similar team line as before. Triple tank, single McCree. Honestly, it's all we need. I genuinely think if you want to play like a good, well-rounded DPS, like just well-rounded composition in current meta, you'd run Zen Ana as support, you'd run McCree Hanzo as DPS, and you'd run Orisa Hog as tanks. You might run a Genji instead of the Hanzo, just to have like a Nano Blade. Mauga isn't 31 or Revolt. Mauga would be cool. Like, especially like what I would like to see is if he could like convert modes. Like if he has a mode with like a shield and a single gun, and then like a mode with the double guns, that'd be really cool. With like the Talon heavy design. Starter Rialto. I want to see what's going on, and I just want to put some damage down. The thing I'm very careful of here, and the thing you've got to be very careful of when doing this, right? Let's go here. Although someone called out at the start that they have a Sombra. I found it a little bit hard to believe because I was like trying to do a quick head count, but then it turns out there is one. Because they have like a Pharah, a Sombra, and a Bastion, but it turns out they just don't have an off-tank. And so that like confused me a little bit for a second. The thing that I'm trying to be very wary of, and the thing that you have to be wary of, you'll see this happen a lot on Paris, you'll see this happen a lot on Junkertown when people are playing Bastions, is when you do this kind of corner poke, don't get greedy once the Orisa starts getting close. You want to think about the distance it takes for a Holt to travel. Because if an Orisa fires a Holt from here and it goes to about here, I can see it coming and move and get to safety. When she's more like, you know, here, and she fires it, I won't be able to really react to that in time. She pulls me back out, and then the Bastion kills me. you've got to give that Hulk respect, because if you don't, you will die. Like, you will be punished for it, and it happens so often on Paris, and I guarantee you, if you've played recently, if you've played on Paris, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where people stand right next to the corner, Hulk comes through, someone gets pulled out, even if it's a tank, Bastion drills it, they die, and then you're stuck waiting for another 15 seconds for a respawn, right? Respect the Hulk with a Bastion around. You've really got to give it some space. So all I'm looking to do is, what I want to try and do here is get a couple of shots onto the barrier, make the Orisa use her next cooldown when she gets to about here, and then I can break that barrier, and then I can look for a hook onto the Bastion. That's mostly what I'm looking for. Turns out they have a fire as well. And again, notice that I'm pulling back very early. Okay, I'm behind the barrier, I'm safe, but I'm still going to just focus on playing the corner. Checking over my team, making sure that, like, the summoner, this is like the kind of Hulk that I'm talking about. Notice that the moment the Hulk comes through, I pop the rebreather, right? The second the Hulk lands, I don't actually need it in reality. I don't actually end up needing it. Maybe the Bastion was reloading or something. But the second that Hulk lands, I use the breather. The reason why is, like, I don't want to try and do damage here. Yeah, I think the Bastion is reloading. Or he just hasn't seen it, or he's not reacted to it for whatever reason. He's decided not to react to it. But yeah, like, Zarya bubbles me. I use take a breather, and it's just fine. I don't try and do anything else that's fancy, because I know that I can die here. Get behind the barrier, and now goal is simple: break the barrier. Barrier is broken. Move forward. Get the hook. Kill Bastion. Okay. First priority for me, destroy the lamp. Should be everyone's priority. Do not, for the love of God, if you're playing DPS, do not just ignore the lamp. Everyone should be shooting at the lamp. The amount of times I see people, especially like people like this McCree, roll into a lamp, flash and fan, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, you stupid man? Yeah, just be very conscious of the fact that, you know, it's kind of everyone's job. Get this out. Something stupid happens here. Which is the Zarya actually opens fire. The Sombra could have got away here. Like, she could have escaped here. I don't know why she doesn't. I'm very confused by that. I was just going to stand on top of her and shoot her in the head. It's a very good way of killing her. But the McCree got there as well. So I can just stay near the front. The thing I'm worried about here is if the Bastion gets back in. So I position forward. Bastion swapped away. Okay. Now we're in a standard barrier wall. The thing that, like, occurs to me very quickly in this barrier war is that they don't have a Roadhog. Okay, if they don't have a Roadhog, and, like, looking at their team comp, like, doesn't take a genius to figure out who's going to win the barrier battle here. Who's going to smash what barrier first? We are, obviously, right? We have McCree, we have Roadhog, we have our Orisa. Baptiste even helps a little bit with it. They have Sombra, Genji, and a Zarya. That doesn't really kill barriers very quickly. So, honestly, like, we can now just play this corner and be very greedy with it, and I think this is a big part of why we end up holding this position for so long, because they can move forward, but every single time, our barrier will just massively outlast theirs. Sombra goes in behind, easiest hook of my life. All I'm worried about here is smashing barriers. And then putting some damage down through the amplification matrix. I don't even really care that much about killing them. Like, I just want to put some damage out and just continue holding this position. Because I know that if they try and cross, they're not going to get to us. And then they swap Reinhardt. Now, I was extremely critical of this Reinhardt swap, and I still am extremely critical of this Reinhardt swap. And I want to show you guys why, and I can with the power of replays. He's already on half barrier, but we're going to go back about 5 seconds. Reinhardt is going to leave the spawn. What's his barrier health? And he's half. Not even remotely near our team. Lower, lower, lower. It's gone. This is why Reinhardt is currently non-functional in the game. Reinhardt doesn't work anymore against, like, this team comp. He can't do that. He can't just walk up to us. And he's going to run into the same issue again.
This is not over.
So this time they opt to go a different pathway. Or they're teasing it at least. All I'm looking to do is put pressure on his barrier. And we're a bit slow to react on the flank here. The real issue that our team comp has, and like this is something I've mentioned before when you have Baptiste and Ana, is you can't deal with stuff like this Dragon Blade. He's just going to be able to freely kill a couple of targets that he wants to kill. I'll try and put some damage on him. But it's just a little bit too much. I think this was the guy who was complaining like, oh, you're picking up Broken Hero in Diamond. What are you doing? It's like, yeah, people are picking McCree, man. I pull the Zarya in on this and I ult because it's like, why wouldn't I? I suspect that we can actually contest this. Like if the Orisa just goes for it, we might actually be able to get back into this. And honestly, I think this is like kind of a silly play out of them. Like I don't think they needed to do this at all. The reason why I throw the hook is just I suspect that she doesn't have barrier. Like if she's this far forward, she's probably been fighting, so she might not have barrier. I'm actually curious to see if she does. She does not. And the reason I whole hog immediately is that if she does have barrier, then I'll destroy the barrier immediately and launch her into the canal. I can also get rid of the Reinhardt straight away. So why not? Kill both tanks. Stop anyone dying in this. The biggest issue with this ult is I can't then run forward, right? I can't move. I'm getting bounced around a bit, but doesn't matter. And then Orisa backs out. Oh no, Orisa dies. Okay, that makes sense. We don't quite get it. We clean up though. Here I'm playing cautiously. Or I'll say I'm playing respectfully because it's like... I know that the Orisa's not there, so they can smack the barrier. So all I want to do is just use this hump, use this bridge as cover. Like, using walls, using terrain, abusing the terrain as much as possible. Extremely important on the fat man. Just be very aware that, you know, if they can shoot you, they will shoot you, and they will farm ults off you. Orisa's back. All I'm doing is drilling damage into the Reinhardt barrier. I shouldn't have hooked there. Like, that was honestly like a bad hook, because we heard him use the deflect. No reason to do that. Need to be wary of that with Genjis. Again, here I'm just trying to use line of sight. Trying to fish for a corner, and I just want to use this wall and just be like as annoying as possible. Because I've just used the hook as well, I'm not going to be super useful in dealing with the Genji, to be honest. Their team's piling resources into the Genji, but hey, we actually get him. And I'm going to just keep abusing this wall. They use a grab, I end up... Oh no, we use a grab. I end up just shooting into it. I knew that this Reinhardt was going to go for it, and that's honestly why I went for the hook there. Is that I suspected that he was going to go for the ult there. Actually, a little bit further. So what I suspected was that he's like... I know that he hasn't ulted in a long while. So I suspected that he's going to try and like jump forward and shatter us now and try and do it through the barrier, which is why I just hooked straight away. Because if he tried to shatter then, I would have stunned him out of it. Unfortunately, the Orisa barrier, the Orisa ult pulls him away. They smash the barrier. He gets it. Fair enough. On the right side, our team is extremely durable. Nano Orisa is actually pretty good in close quarters. Nano Orisa can actually tear people up, and we end up winning. We even get a free Baptiste. This is not a good position for Rein to be in, remember. Rein's barrier is super important here. Like, the moment he puts it up, I'm shooting straight into it. I think I even try and throw a cheeky hook here, because yeah. The reason why I throw that hook is because I noticed that he's been playing, like, really... He's been playing very like, oh, I'm just going to drop the barrier and just soak the damage. And so I throw it there just to like try and psych him out of that behavior. I either get him or I try and make him put his barrier up a little bit more and play a bit more defensively. Out of those two options. And now his team is completely vulnerable to crossing the bridge. And we have, I think, this guy's just going to press Q. Have firing! I think I hooked the Zarya in as well. Just makes life easy. For some reason they have a Brigitte. I don't know why they have a Brigitte. I don't know what they're hoping the Brigitte is going to solve. I'm guessing someone on their team is going like, go goats, go goats, go goats. Yeah, that looks like what's happening. They're going, go goats, straight away. And I don't think on ladder, goats is going to be that great against the team comp that we're running. Like, we're already triple tank, but it's like a weird triple tank mix with a McCree, and like 2 very durable, stodgy healers are going to be difficult to kill if they like work together. Like, they're going to be kind of difficult to finish off. And we can just blow up their Rhine in like 2 seconds flat. Or blow up any of them in 2 seconds flat. I just whole hog through this because, honestly, whole hog is an ult that I can kind of spam. I'm not a fan of the grab there, to be honest. I think it's just entirely unnecessary, but I think this area is having fun at this point, so hey. Yeah, I think they were like, yeah, we should try going goats, and it's like, Reinhardt has no barrier. I enjoy demonstrating this because I see people like go, oh, I don't play Orisa. I can't play Orisa, and it's like, it's so easy to demonstrate like why Reinhardt is a bad pick in current meta. He's down 1,000. He's barely put his barrier up for like 0.2 seconds. And it's gone. It's gone. I think replays would be nice if you could share it. Yeah. I know, like, even if you watch the interview that Sty did with Jeff about, like, the replays, like, Jeff's like, yeah, like, the first thing you said was, like, the ability to share it. You know, that's, like, where your mind instantly went. And that's kind of where my mind went as well. Maybe it's because I come from, like, StarCraft. So does Sty, actually. And it's like, oh. Also, by the way, this... Okay, let me finish this thought. And yeah, it's like the first thought that most people have is, oh yeah, I want to be able to share my replays. But the thing with Overwatch replays is they're not quite as simple as the StarCraft replay. Overwatch replays are generally a little bit more complicated and generally a bit larger, but I think that's not a problem. Like, I think there's enough file storage these days where it's not that big of a deal. And like, file sharing now is better, way better than it was in like 2010. It's way better than it was in like 2000 when people still were sharing replays from Warcraft 3 and shit. So yeah, I don't know, man. I would love to have them shareable. So why can't I get into first? What the hell is happening here? Okay, I want to get into first person, but for some reason it's just like bouncing me out. It's just bouncing me off the hero and I can't get into first person for some reason. Options, controls. What's happening? What's happening? There we go, we're in. Yeah, so something weird happens here, and I kind of want to see it for myself, because this is where I got really confused. Because the team was like, fall back, fall back, fall back, fall back. I think like the call was like, they have Bastion, we should fall back, and I think people just kind of went nuts. Like, I think we could have held very easily from like this position, or like these, like in here. Like, we could have held from here, or used like the whirl of this, because their main tank is dead. They have a Junkrat tire coming, but this is all kind of open terrain, so we can see it coming. And I think what ends up happening, if I turn on this, is like everyone just super backs out, like really runs for the hills, and I just kind of end up completely isolated while everyone's just pulled way out. And I think they could have just gone in here, or just like we could have probably still played here and just shot this down. Because like the Bastion, who's so far away, won't actually be able to shoot over the sort of the swell of the bridge. Still got the sand barrier out, so I'll take it as a victory. Died on point, but now these guys are kind of screwed because the reinforcements come through and they're all going to die. And, like, it's greedy to try and fight them here. And the danger now is they have a Bastion on the payload, and that's like a lot of tank busting. So all I'm looking to do here, because they don't have an Orisa, is just poke my nose out and just try and hit Ryan's barrier here and there. And like try and just smash their barrier down so I can set up a hook on it later. Unfortunately, a Crimp has thrown that plan. Like, again, looking to use walls and just harass the barrier, and I get ulted. Feels bad, man. I know the will file contain sensitive engine info. I don't think so either. Like, the way that it does work, and I believe it works, is it's just like a series of instructions fed into the game. It's just the instructions in this are a lot more complicated than the instructions in StarCraft, for example. Like the way that StarCraft's netcode works, I had Tim Ford explain this to me once, and it was a very complicated but very good reason. Okay, their team goes nuts here, by the way. I don't know why they've done this. I can't believe you've done this. For some reason, their team decides to push all the way into our goddamn spawn. Can I, like, go above this? No, there's a ceiling. Go about here. Nice. Alright, they wipe us, they take second, and then they push into our spawn. And I'm not entirely sure why. Like, the best thing that comes from this is they get 1 or 2 kills, maybe. But our team is sticky. Our team is very, very sticky. Like, it's very, like, Orisa could halt and pull people around. McCree has flashbang, Ana has sleep, I have hook. Like, we're difficult to pull away from, right, if we want to fight. And we want to fight at this distance. We want to fight around here. And it's not like, I don't mind, like, if the, you know, they were playing, like, around here, and, like, the Junkrat was just spamming in some damage, and I don't mind the Hammond too much, like, rolling in as well and trying to do some shit, but for Reinhardt to come this far forward, and for Zarya to come this far forward, they have no way of getting away from us. They have absolutely no way of getting away from us. So this is insanity to me. Like, they have committed so hard to this, and we can just play aggressively and just... Like, I'm getting bounced around all over the place, but Choi Hyobin here on the Zarya isn't. The Reinhardt barrier dies instantly. He dies straight away. Oh, look, there's no Rein barrier. Well, now the Bastion's easy picking. Bastion knows it. I'm sort of trying to fish the Bastion out and just keep the Bastion busy. Batiste spots what I'm trying to do. I get the Bastion. I know, I get the Lucio. I was looking for the Bastion, but that works too. And you can see what we mean by we're sticky. Like, you can't retreat from our team easily. This, I think, is a little bit of hubris on our team's part. Like, pushing this aggressively, just because this can go wrong. Like, there's no reason for us to do this with, like, 50 seconds left on the clock. If someone dies here, they have a good counter push coming in, especially if, like, the Orisa dies. We can't deal with it very easily. It's not too bad, because a lot of people do commit to it, but it could go wrong, and I don't like it when plans go wrong. I whole hog here, just trying to push the Hammond off, but don't get him. They call him out on this side. And honestly, all I'm going to do... All I want to do is put my fat ass in this little area here. He boots me out, but he's so low as he goes through that he dies. And victory is assured, pretty much from this point. Right, let's just try and touch. I help him out and say, hey, you want to come here? Sure, come here. Come here, bro. In terms of improvements made to my Roadhog, I think there's a couple of hooks that... are greedy or like just kind of unnecessary. Like, you know, if a Genji's coming around a corner, I just need to be very patient with the hook. In general, I think my target focus seems to be okay. My planning around like what I'm trying to do seems to be, I think, correct. I need to just keep calm in situations where, you know, over here, for example, when there was like a Zarya and a Reinhardt just in our face, I think it just... Like around this moment here, I just need to keep my cool. Instead, I'm like spamming a lot of shots around and just not really hitting anything. When I can just keep my calm and just sort of work from there. And yeah, just be aware of the team. And also, I think I just need to, like, this is just a general issue I have in general. Like, it might come from playing support, and like as Ana or like as Batiste or as Zen, I'm fine just staying on the payload and trying to heal from range. But even when I play off-tank or when I play DPS, I also very much like to stay on the payload, and that could just be me. If there's any questions in chat, now is a good time to ask them. About Roadhog, about the meta in general, about the game in general at this point, about recording, about all this kind of stuff. Whole hog, I think my whole hoggin's fine. Like, I didn't use any out in the open, didn't use any in stupid positions. I think I did okay with that. I'm going to set this back to... Actually, no, we can leave this like this. It's weird, like, when I'm on full screen... When I'm on, like, borderless full screen, the frame rate tends to tank at points. It's very strange. It's just an Overwatchy thing that happens. In general, that's how you record, and that's a little bit of how to play Roadhog as well. Is Flank Hog still a thing in this beta? I would say no. You can play it, and you can be a very annoying person with it. In fact, I think I had a couple of games the other day where Roadhog was doing that, and it was like frustrating like, I think it was like the Ana or something going like, oh, I can't handle it if I don't know where the Roadhog is. That was on stream. But I think Roadhog right now is just so much better served by just smashing barriers. Like, you are at your strongest. Just clobbering barriers to death, because you've seen how effective it is on, like, when they have like a Reinhardt, for example. And with an Orisa around as well, like, you can do so much just smashing the barriers over and over and over again and playing with the Orisa. It's just such a strong place to play from. And especially if your team does have mathematically just more DPS output, if you win the barrier war, it's kind of on... The onus is then on them to be cleverer than you and to try and do something smarter than you, because you can just break their barriers faster, get hooks through it, hopefully, get picks through it, hopefully, and sort of play from there. Like, by the time that the Orisa's barrier is down, we got a fresh one up and running. We can just kill through it. But he's tried, bless him. Otherwise, like, simple reminders, 12k bitrate, so 12,000 kbps or 12 mbps is what you are looking for YouTube. Recording from replay should be a lot more easy. If you are ever worried and have doubts, just stick in first person. If you think that if you're particularly confused by a team fight, you can do it in first person. Go back 20 seconds or like go back 30 seconds. It's easier, honestly, I find, to do it with this thing after playing around with it a little bit. Go back, go for an overhead, and then just kind of show off, And you can use this. I don't mind it too much. I think I could work without it. I think I could work with it. It's just up to you. I'd say if you want to do like third person, the issue with like this viewpoint is like if I want to know what Baptiste is doing, I don't really know what he's doing, right? Like I can't kind of figure out what he's aiming at or what he's looking at. I can kind of infer it a little bit, but it just still kind of feels awkward. I'm actually curious to see if he reacts to the Sombra. How fast does he react? I imagine he doesn't, because I don't think we called it out ever. I think the Ana just deals with it. Yep, the Ana's just fine with it, and then I hook her. It's a greedy Sombra. It's a very greedy Sombra. As a Roadhog, when's the best time to hook Ham and Power Driver? I tend to do it as he lands, but they're not messing my aim too much. It's just as he lands. Like, if you watch how the pros do it, it's generally how they do it. I get that as well. Like, there's a Hammond in this game, and I think I flubbed the hook on him several times. It just takes practice. Like, I think if you try and throw the hook just as he's like, as you come up and you just hook, you've got to kind of estimate a little bit on where he can roll, because that's when he starts rolling. But in general, like, that's how I tend to get him. Is the land, hook, pull him in, shoot, shoot, shoot. It's probably not going to be enough to kill him. So don't, like, if it's just you doing CC on him, it's not going to be enough to kill him. You need, like, an Ana to follow up with a slow afterwards, and then that's generally enough to get enough damage into him and kill him. But don't go for it when he's in the air, certainly. It's just too slow. So I think that's when the Genji goes for a blade. Is that a pro Genji? Is it a Blade Valkyrie? Yes, it is. I like Blade Valkyrie. Blade Valkyrie is honestly one of my favorite combos. It's not immediately obvious, and it's actually pretty powerful. And some teabagging. Spicy. Very spicy. Why not shield and current measures of flavor ice cream? What would it be? It'd be like a really shit cheap ice cream that you take outside because it's summer and it just melts instantly. Ryan needs something, man. Ryan needs help. Like, the amount of damage that comes out of teams. Whoa, 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 whoa. I want to see something there. This is where I wish I had it on, like... I wish I could like zoom back and forth like a couple of seconds. That's all I need. It's just like a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw what I saw. Keep an eye on this Genji. Keep an eye on him. Seems to be finding it out. Well, let's go. It's different. We need to like have the DuckTales moon theme playing over this. Splop. I love it. I love it. I love the slow-mo in this game in general. It's a shame none of these heroes have faces. There we go. Like, this is something that Sty exploits quite a lot, which is facial expressions on heroes in-game. Actually changes quite a lot. They're actually pretty animated.
Fire in the hole!
Those shots on that tire were terrible from me. I need to lead that a lot more. Ugh. Otherwise, if there's no more questions, that's going to be it for Coaching the Many, as people need to send stuff in. If you do want to send things in, send it to oamreviews@gmail.com. Make sure you include a goddamn link as well. For the love of God, the amount of times I see emails and it's like, yes, in the video, oh, I did this, and it's like, there's no video link. There's just no link.